What we're going to do, I learned the beauty in what I teach. When I go around the country, I teach an aspect of martial arts to represent where I come from. It always has that urban flair to it. You can't take the hood out of me because that's where I come from. So I learned to find out how the culture that I came up in still represents the traditional martial arts that I teach in. So when I was in jail, in the middle of the night, I rolled out my bed and I came up with this thing that says open, knowledge, unity, open, respect. What I realized, because I love getting high, I ain't gonna tell you I don't love getting high. If I can get high right now and still sell drugs and get paid and not end up in jail and not lose everything that I got, I would be doing it right now. All right? I ain't gonna lie to you.
Of course.
If I can just say F the world when they make me mad and not go to jail or end up dead, I would be doing it right now. I ain't gonna lie to you. So what I gotta do is do things because I can steal your drawers off you while you was talking to me. If you give me a package that done dropped, I'm gonna put some cut on it and I'm gonna sell it until I can get a package that's gonna give me a smoker. So I know how to hustle. I don't care whatever goes on, I know how to go from nothing to something. You know? So what I gotta realize, because I can outsmart you, I can outsmart me. So because I know I can outsmart me, I knew that when I came home from jail, I had to make sure I set up all these devices where if one day I thought that I'd have made it and I ended up in a bar trying to get a Coors Light because it wasn't that much alcohol, eventually by drinking that Coors Light, I was going to go back to doing what I really wanted to do. And guess what? When I started doing what I really wanted to do, every car, every school, every bank account, everything that I own, going to be gone in a day. Probably like 2 or 3 hours, because I love getting high. Anybody know that? I love getting high. So what I had to do was create these devices. So I tell everybody that I love getting high. So therefore, if you happen to see me in the bar, you're like, yo, I thought you had a drinking problem. So if I do things around me and teach people around me to do things that remind me of how the person I want to be, it allows me to subliminally not want to go back to where I come from. So in our martial arts school, we created a bow where it says, we put our hands out like this. Everybody, let's try that. What that's saying, keep my mind open. That's what it means, open mind. When I come to a man, I say, bro, I come in peace. That's all I want, I just want peace. Once I come in peace, it gives me knowledge. The most powerful force in the world is the pyramid. Nobody still cannot figure out how the pyramids were built. Am I correct, Mr. Green?
Correct, sir.
Okay, but now what happens, we all know whoever's teaching us and giving us knowledge, we stop being united with them because we become big-headed. But I got to remain united with those people that are giving me knowledge. And if we know, even as kids, when our parents, we were loving them and we cared about them, what we also started doing was stop being open. So I got to remain open with them. And then so, yeah, I do all that, but then one of the things that really happens to the closest people to us, we stop being respectful. So our bow, where we teach kids, be open to your parents so you can get knowledge. Be united with your parents and stay open to your parents and remain respectful to your parents. So once again, our bow is open, knowledge, unity, open, respect. That's what we do, okay? So once again, I'm a selfish guy, so I tell you all these selfish things so you can help keep me clean and sober. So that's what everybody in school doing. They reminded me every time a kid do that, you see it, it's beautiful. Now, who would ever think something from jail would be manifested that way?
Amen.
Okay? I'm not intelligent enough to know how it's happening. So that's the first thing. Every time we meet, when we're going to show respect, we're going to go bow with the open, knowledge, unity, open, respect. Now, like I always have to take it, because we always get a lot of people that think they're hardcore, but I say, bro, even the hustlers like, dog, what's up, baby? We good? My man, that's love. That's no different than this. So if you have a hard time doing this, then you ain't really a gangster. Because even gangsters show respect. Amen. If you come from that level, the only reason why the street's the way it is because the kids don't respect anyone anymore. Yeah. But when you get them in a situation, you say, shorty, you don't want to go where I've been, so stop fronting. Guess what he do? You're like, yeah, all right, man, I get you. But then guess what he do? Next time you walk in that room, you go, what's up? You ain't even got to say nothing. How many of us walk down the street and we look at each other and we can't really look at each other as men, but we like, right? Isn't that it? That's an acknowledgement to say, I respect you. Right. I probably can't say nothing to you, but I respect you. So these are the things that I need to put together, that we try to put together, that I want us to relate to, because we are warriors. That's what warriors do. We got to find a way to adapt what we already doing. Because even though whatever we doing that we thought people said was negative, some of it was built on strong foundations. How can we align it with God's foundations? Are we good with that?
Yeah.
All right? So we already got our respect. Once that's gone, there's no more relationship. I got to respect you, respect me, and when that's gone, we have nothing. Nothing. And that's what we got to show our kids. I don't want my son to like me. He's not my friend. I want him to respect me, and when I go astray, to shoot being that example for him, he already know, cut me off. Cut me off. Because if you don't cut me off, but when you cut me off, it's going to make me want to seek that respect again. So I'm going to have to change back to that. Anybody that don't carry themselves in a respectful manner don't deserve respect. You got to work to earn that. You can't buy that. Your age don't make you that. Your struggle don't make you that. Your day-to-day example makes you that.
400.
So even when we right here, when a kid walks in, don't yawn without covering your mouth. Because as a kid wonder, well, why that kid just punched me in my mouth, mommy? He bullying me. No. You was in that lunch line, you just opened your mouth without covering your mouth, and that kid like, wow, yo, what you doing yawning in my face? Because my mom and dad said, every time you great yawn, cover your mouth. Every time you stand and you talk, let somebody stand in a respectful manner. And these guys will attest to it. You will never see me teach a class where I teach a class with my hands in my pocket. Or I do this. Or I do this. I always teach a class in a humble manner where we can all be equal. Because I'm no better than you. So I think when we work together, you ain't going to have to worry about that with me. But I think that's the first thing if we do as men, just become conscious of what energies we putting out. That's a hard job. Even what we saying. I know somebody said 100. I'm going to tell you a little thing about 100. My son said, keep it 100. I say, keep it 110. Because we as human beings, we strive for 100% because we are human. We only get 90. But if I strive for 110, I'm going to make up for that extra 10 and I'm going to get 100. See, we human beings. It's just like, as strong as you are, if I took my finger and went to your eye, he ain't going to step back an inch. I don't care how bad you are. It's a natural human instinct. You're going to move back from it, and then you're going to come back in. So we always going to slack up on the goal, because that's human nature. That's why we need God. So if we extend beyond our own goals and intellects and what we think we can do, God's going to give us more. That's what I believe. I mean, what you guys think?
Yeah.
Okay. So we got our vow. We understand that we got to check ourselves. And y'all know the old song, before we wreck ourselves. Now we got to figure out what can we do every morning when we wake up to just let the Spirit in. So everybody, step your legs out a little bit. Bring your feet back in. Y'all can step forward. You don't have to you can open up. You got all this floor, man. Let's get to know each other. There you go. All right. Yeah, go. You got to go again? Yeah, something you ate last night, huh? All right. So we're going to put our feet together. And what we're going to do is step out with our right foot and make a half moon. And then sit down and sit our heels down into the ground. Let's bring our feet back in. Let's step back out again. And then we're going to sit down. Let's bring it back in. Something just stressed us out. We found a little corner, so nobody knows what's going on, and we're just trying to create some movement. We're going to breathe in and then out when we come out. Come back in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And now sit. And what I want you to do, I want you to think about sitting your heels down into the floor. Create a rock solid position. Now breathe in through your nose. Bring your hands all the way up and breathe out through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose. Breathe out through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose. Breathe out through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose. Breathe out through your mouth. 3 more. Breathe in through your nose. Breathe out through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose. Breathe out through your mouth. And last one, breathe in through your nose. Breathe out through your mouth. Shake it out, and you can go and sit down. So, my goal was today, I want to help us be able to first tap into our bow to show respect. I want to keep it simple. If we understand how to respect, so whenever we walk in the dojo, even the gangster know when he walks in the dojo, it's like, what do you do? It's like something like, oos. Do I take my shoes off? Yo, I know I do. I know it's something oriental, right? The dojo is a sacred place. So once we come here, I think if we learn to have a place that's sacred, it frees us and gets us away from all those unsacred things that are going on out there in life. And then one day, the real place of all that temple and that church is right here. Because the church and the building don't make you, as your spirit that makes the church and all that stuff, like he just said, is your energy that makes this possible. Amen. But until we learn to build the temple from within, we're going to keep on thinking that it's the temple without that makes us who we are. I realized that the greatest blessing that ever happened to me in my life was to be incarcerated. That cell was my heaven. Every morning I woke up before everybody in the jail. I did 1,000 push-ups, 1,000 sit-ups. I meditate. Everything every book that you read around here, every article you might see, even this TV show that I was in, I formatted it all while I was in jail. When I was in the shelter, I still had my portfolio, and while everybody else did what they did, I don't get social. I did what I needed to do because I knew I wanted more than what I was in. So I had to work my butt off to make sure that I did not waste my time. When I was incarcerated, you know it's a blessing from God because I was put in Patuxent Institute, and I only had 9 months. So I was around people with life plus 50. How the hell I get here? I didn't know what to do. I'm claustrophobic. But I had to find a way to live because I have a 30-year-old son that I was talking to right now, and I didn't want him to be like me because I was a hustler in the city of Baltimore. And when I really got deep, I did not want my son to be like me, like my dad wanted me to be like him. See, my dad wanted me to be like him, so he beat me and he called me names and did stuff to me and said things to me that humiliated me so bad that all I could do was go out and get paid in the streets of Baltimore, and every day I had to stay high. If it took taking a 9mm out and putting it in somebody's face and daring them to say something and pistol whipping people, I did it. But I only did it because I had to be intoxicated, because I didn't like what I had to be in order to get my dad to love me. You know what's so crazy? When I first asked my dad, what should I do? Because my homie said, bro, we got this big package, let's get paid. And what's so crazy about it, they just killed my best friend. So all of us who just grew up playing baseball and basketball was now entering the drug game. And they was killing each other. And when they asked me, they like, yo, let's get paid, bro. Come on, you guys. It's like everybody know that I got this energy where I'm probably like, I'm just a motivated person. I'm a universal person. I always have a love for God in my heart because that's what my mom put in me. Because she had a love for everybody. She made everybody family in our house. But I never understood that because my dad told me that wasn't being a man. He told me you had to go kill something. Be a killer like me. Excuse me for my word, nigga. Stop bullshitting and acting like you hard. You ain't hard. You a little bitch. Excuse me for saying it like that. Because you want to do that karate shit and be like a Chinese man. Be like me. And it cursed me. So when I went and I asked him what should I do with that gun and that package, and he said go get paid, I was hoping that he said do your martial arts. My dad said, go get paid. My dad sent me out to the wolves. And I did it. But I stayed high every day and I didn't want to be high. But the only way I could do what I had to do, I had to be high. And you know what? I was good at what I did because I'm going to win at whatever I do. But every time I got a chance to become conscious and think about that right there, I snorted again. I picked up the gun again. I got the next girl, and I got her pregnant. Then I got the other one pregnant. It became a joke. How many babies you got, Bam? My own dad. How many you got now, son? Because that's being a real man. All I wanted was a nigga to say, all I wanted was a man to say, look, that's not what men do, but he never said that. He kept on bragging about all that. I had one person that told me to believe and be better than Bruce Lee, and that was my sister. But it was still kind of hard. Because even though I played both sides of the fence, I go to the karate tournament. When I came back to the hood, I was a neighborhood hero. Nobody was there to tell me, you can't play with the devil while you get following God's laws. But I played with both sides of the fence. But God was so blessed for me. He blessed me so much. Because every time somebody got life plus 50, I was at a karate tournament. Or every time somebody got killed, I was at a karate tournament. Or every time there was an investigation with the FBI, I was at a karate tournament. You know, but it still ain't make no sense to me. Doing all that, my mom was dying from cancer. But that's my mom. She been in the hospital ever since I've been knowing her. It ain't no big deal. My sister taking off from job for like 3 or 4 months to take care of my mom. I ain't getting it. Because I'm up in this game, I'm getting money. I'm playing both sides of the field. And one day, I was supposed to have been on a bus going to New York to be on the front cover of my first karate magazine with my teacher. Something I dreamt about all my life. On the front cover of a national karate magazine. But now I brought the girls over, had the little big party, getting high, being fly while my mom in the room dying. But I ain't getting it. Because my dad telling me that's how you be. Because you know why? That's what he did to my mom. We all know. You come around when you got the welfare check, when the money gone, then you gone. Let's be real. Most black men, all we do is just treat women like they nothing, then we gone. We call them bees, we call them all this, then we gone. We call it being hard, being a pimp, being a thug. But when I sit back and I look at it, that ain't no man. Because any man that treat a woman like she ain't nothing, then you ain't no man. I don't care what you do. They supposed to be our queens. We supposed to honor them and respect them. Right. But all my dad did was beat my mom down. So at 3 o'clock in the morning, my sister say, "Mommy, going." That's when it hit me. And when I grab her in my arm and she take her last breath, when she take that last breath, all she say is, "Baby, be good. Mommy going home." I seen her eyes and I seen that she was now at peace. But in the back of my mind, even when I thought that I was selling drugs to make money to get my mom out of project, somewhere along the way I lost focus of why I was doing it. Because you can't play with the devil and think you're going to make it good, because eventually he's going to make you a part of his crew. I'm going to say that again. Nobody that powerful to play with the devil, because before you get out, he going to pimp you. And he pimped me. When my mom died, I just wanted to die. Because really, she was my hero. She was the one that I wanted to live the life that I'm living right now. You know what's so crazy? My girl was pregnant, who was a part of the game, and the day after my mom died, my son that I'm talking about right now was born. And when I sat in that hospital and he was born, the doctor said, "This baby been here before." Wow. The doctor said, "This baby been here before." That was my mom coming back and my son. That's why his name is called Marco, because he's named to make me remind that now I got to do for him what I should have did for my mom. And you know what? When I got that light on in jail, and I came home from jail, I haven't turned back. Amen. We as men say shit, excuse me, we being real here, but we really don't mean it.
That's right.
We say it because it just makes us feel like we meant it. That's what a guy told me in jail. He said, that's what boys do. Because they got to fake it. A real man will do what I'm doing right now. Because I'm grateful for what God did for me. And I don't care how good it was. I don't care how much money I seen. My worst day today is nothing compared to my greatest day out on them streets. So you know what? I realized that when I was saying all this shit and coming home from jail, I used to always say, I'm going to go back and get my son. But I was living my goals now, man, living my dreams. Don't forget, before I went to jail, my mom died. I had went to China. I was a world champion. I had everything. I had my own business. Plus, I had a drug business. But I thought I was the man. I thought I was in charge. But when I came home from jail, man, somewhere out of nowhere, my sister said, it's now time for you to be a man. Go get your son. Now, God hit me with my son being left in the house for 2 weeks with no food because his mom out there still living the life. 2 weeks with no food. Now, somebody hits you and say, you got to go to the courthouse and get your son. Now, all that shit I was saying hit me with reality. In my mind, I was hoping his mom showed up because I'm trying to live my dream. But when I showed up, nobody showed up. I was still living in a shelter. I was living in a shelter in Silver Springs, just starting my life. How I'm going to take care of a kid and live my dreams. But you know what? I took that boy. We went out on faith with a little TV, a little room. I followed everything that them people said doing, not knowing what I'm doing. I checked them in school, never did it a day in my life, but never missed a day with picking them up on time from school. I took them into karate school. I did everything I had to do. And I used to watch a movie called South Central. Anybody ever seen that movie? Awesome movie, right? My instructor said, that's your story. I watched how that man came home from jail and got his son and did everything to break that cycle. That was 30 years ago. My son has been on TV with me. My son has been on the front cover of every magazine that was with me. And everybody admit that been here at this school, he's probably like the next black Bruce Lee. That's how good he is. And that's the one that I'm talking to about meeting with you guys. You know, so when I say that it does work, but you got to work your ass off to make it work. I tell people I used to talk in codes. Build that, gives that, wizard or deserve. Because that's how we got. Anybody know that? That's how you communicate so the 5-0 wouldn't know what you're doing. But a man told me, a prison guard said, because I had this dream of going into, creating this program, which we got right now called Stronger Than Drugs. So a guy said, you need to go and talk to this guy. Every time I seen that guy, I was like, man, I ain't trying to talk to him. He got the light. I ain't ready for the light. I ain't going to go talk to him. When I went to talk to him, he said, we're going to have a meeting. I can talk to you about your program. Name of the meeting was called, Who Are You? When I went to that meeting, he said, so who the fuck are you? Excuse me? I'm sorry, I'm just trying to be real here.
Come on.
He said, you know what? You claim to be a man? First of all, shut up. Don't even say nothing. Because if you was that much of a man, you wouldn't be here. You'd be out there taking care of your kids. And any man that takes his money and go give it to another man ain't nothing but a prostitute. I had to think about that. He said, and don't say you ain't got faith. Excuse me. Don't say you ain't got faith, nigga. Because guess what? When you took that money to that man and you gave him that money thinking that what that container contained something that's going to change your mind, you had faith that that product was going to change. And it probably ain't even work. You just had enough belief that it changed your state. I'm like, damn, he right. I done had faith all my life. How am I going to have faith in a man I never met before and thinking that you got a product that's going to change my mind? He said, so now flip the faith up and put it in something right.
Amen. Amen.
And that's what I do. So don't ever tell me I ain't got faith. I would have faith and I would surrender my life to God. And the one thing I would do more than my kids and my wife is fight to keep my conscious contact with the God that has saved my life. Amen. Because just like on a plane, they tell you that plane crash, you better fasten that seatbelt around your waist. Because if you die, they die. But if you good, then they good. So I can't worry about nobody else. I got to worry about me. I got to worry about what. But guess what? When you become selfish, you become selfless. All I do today is for everybody else. That man right there will tell you, I don't even know how we came together. He tells me a story that happened with me and him when he came to a program of recovery that I still don't know how it happened. That man right there was one of the most intelligent men in the world. He keeps saying he don't know why he come back. You know why he come back? Because he showed me how to be a man for my son. Amen. Those people that walk through these doors, white, black, Chinese, they didn't show me how to become the man I am right now. So we here for one another. They know that when I teach martial arts and I do all this, it ain't because I'm a killer. And warrior don't mean that I'm tough. Warrior means that I surrender to the Spirit of God. And I know if I surrender, He's going to guide me and make me stand up and be committed to His word. And you know what? If that means that on an external level it looks like I'm losing, it's cool. Because I got to go through the motions. And as long as I stay faithful and work my breathing and don't act like that word that I said, because all a nigga is an ignorant person.
That's right. That's right.
Let's get it right. Is an ignorant person. And any man that calls a woman a B, that's really you. I used to do all that. But I had to work on never doing any of that today. And I will never do it. I learned to be a father. I learned to respect women because I had a woman show me how to respect women. So therefore I can learn how to be married to a woman more than 20 years. And that same dad that said be a killer, me and him good today. You know why? Because I learned to be the man that he wished that he could have been. You know why? Because when I'm around him, I tell him, you made me who I am. But I will never tell him how bad he made me. But you know what? I know that he's seeking forgiveness because my dad never cries. But when we talk, and he began to talk about what I did, he just cries. Tears just be poured out. The strongest man I ever knew in his life. How powerful is God to let him stay alive and let my mom die for him to be able to see what misery he created. I think the hardest thing is to be in darkness. Some people just take me out. Don't let me live through it. They said if God will show you what you're going to go through tomorrow, and if we all do, some of us would quit today. Right or wrong?
Right.
But you know what? I'm not about seeking revenge and beating my dad down. Because if he died tomorrow, I'd be hurt. I love him. The beautiful thing about this program, which is an AA program, a 12-step program, is that I learned just be the best person I can be and never try to put out negativity or hurt to anybody else. I love God. And I know as long as I continue to just try to do my very best, I don't know how to be a man. Every day I wake up, I'm trying to find the right way and the right methods to be a better man. I don't know how to be a dad. I'm trying to be a better dad. That's why when I mess up and slip up, I say forgive me. I'm trying to be a better husband. I realize that I got to stay open. And as long as I stay open, when I get to the other side of not understanding, the discovery of what I don't really know is rewarding because at least it ain't something that I used to do. I know how to mess up. So as long as I don't do anything that got me in trouble, even a stumble a day is new and good because it ain't the same old thing. Amen. That's insanity. You know, so after 27-some years, man, I still go to AA meetings. I still read my big book every day. As a matter of fact, I probably read it. My wife will tell you, when I wake up in the morning, I walk out with a stack of books like this. You know why? Because whatever emotion that comes up inside of me, I go and try to find a book that talks about that emotion, and I begin to work on that. Because I learned that the only person that can build me up, God sends us signals, but if I don't do anything about fixing that problem, by seeking counseling or reading a book or doing whatever, it's out there, then I'm just going to stay stuck. I don't want to stay stuck. I just want to get better. I don't want to go back to be that man that I used to be. You know, I'm not saying that,